a fun topic to talk about in the environmental world. Hey y'all, it's Becky here from the Beckisphere, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Becky, and every Tuesday and Thursday we talk about the climate here. The problems, yes, but the solutions, yes. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, go ahead and click that subscribe button below, hit the like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And today we are going to be talking about nuclear energy. Yay! I'm poking this bear. So there are already a lot of really great videos on nuclear energy, and I will be linking them throughout the video as well as in the description below. But I just want to go ahead and give a summary of what I found to be the case for pros and cons of nuclear energy, and I'll give my little opinion at the end. Please feel free to drop your opinions down below. Be respectful, please. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. So nuclear represents about 55% of clean energy generation in the United States. That being said, a lot of plants have been closing recently, and that's been due to some pushback from communities living around the area because of fear from previous events in other countries where nuclear reactors have backfired. There's also a bit of fear from, for example, nuclear weapons from the Cold War, but that's actually how we ended up getting a lot of our nuclear power plants today, because the community that was advocating for nuclear wanted to show that there was a good side to nuclear, not just nuclear weapons. So a lot of the power plants that we have in the United States were actually developed in the 70s when there was a big boom of nuclear energy excitement. That quickly died a bit because then people realized how expensive it was to build and how long it took to build each plant. Need to let ruin. So nuclear became a big deal in the 70s in the United States, but then quickly people realized, yes they did, people realized that they were very expensive to build and took a long time for them to build. And so that excitement that was initially there kind of died off. Also, the technology, of course, is very complicated. I won't be going too far into the technology in this video because I'm just giving a basic summary, but I will leave links below if you want to go more in depth about those topics. But yeah, so basically it was a really cool concept, and the reactors that were built, it was really neat, and they were able to supply a lot of power for a lot of areas, but it was a really expensive endeavor, and our government system wasn't really set up and didn't really create a space in which it could become cheaper for nuclear to continue to develop, so it kind of stalled. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the current nuclear power plants that are in use right now should be put out of use, because nuclear energy is a clean energy form. It doesn't emit carbon dioxide. Now, of course, there's arguments for the development of the nuclear plants does require processes that will emit greenhouse gas emissions, but that's kind of true for every form of renewable energy that you come across. It is a form of clean energy. So the argument for removing these nuclear power plants has mostly been based on the fear from communities, rightfully so, that nuclear power plants are unstable and that their communities will experience a nuclear destruction or experience nuclear radiation. To quell those concerns a little bit, because there has been so much concern around nuclear power plants are all designed to withstand earthquakes, and also they take the nuclear waste and they either store it on site or off site somewhere else. Now, we don't really have a very good way of doing something with nuclear waste, and there is a concern that nuclear waste could then be used for nuclear weapons, which is a big issue for then supporting nuclear power in countries that were not too excited about getting into nuclear weapons. We don't really have a great way of doing something with the waste, so it would kind of just sit there in tanks on site because we haven't really developed or prioritized the development of other methods of changing it into something else. So that's an area of research potentially. The current ones that are already in existence, but despite public concern, they're probably pretty safe for the local communities as long as the waste is taken care of properly and all the requirements, all the stringent requirements for the construction of those plants initially and also the refurbishment of those plants is held to a very high standard. However, new power plants are expensive to build and they take a long time to build. So it might not make much sense to spend a ton of money on something that's going to take a long time when we don't have very much time to transition to renewable energy. That being said, take the money and put it into the refurbishment of these 1970s build nuclear power plants, or consider working on research on building smaller and cheaper power plants. There are some companies in the works of doing that, but we have yet to see one actually be built that works. So it's still definitely an area of research. We could eventually have our civilization run on nuclear. Not saying that's not a possibility, but I'm saying for the immediate future, it doesn't make sense to invest all of our energy into that right now because we don't have time. So let's first get to the clean energy part, and then we can figure out better ways to maintain clean energy creation. There are more videos down below that talk more in depth about the topic, but I just want to give y'all a basic summary because I know that it's a really controversial and difficult issue, and it definitely divides a lot of environmentalists from one category to the other. I remember when I was at University of Oregon and there was a presenter and he was very pro-nuclear, and there were literally protests outside the lecture hall from anti-nuclear environmentalists. Like, it's a bad issue. And I think, again, that derives from our issue of needing to make everything black and white. Everything is either all nuclear or no nuclear, you know? But the solution might fall in between, you know? We might need to use current nuclear power plants that are already developed and make sure that they are up to par. And we might need to focus our energy on solar and wind rather than using that money to create a power plant. So again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please be respectful because this argument can get a little heated. And on Thursday, we will talk about the next section, section 4 of this book, All We Can Save, which is Reshape. So please check that out for our Thursday live stream, which is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Tuesday, we are going to discuss flooding, because I have already done videos on the wildfires and on hurricanes, on how both of those relate to climate change, but I haven't done one on flooding, and I don't want to leave y'all in the Midwest out, so I'm here for you. So we're going to talk about flooding on next Tuesday. So stay tuned. Remember to talk about the climate every single day and to support your local news organizations. If you want to know why, then make sure you check out the video that I recently did on the topic of local news and climate communication. All right, I'll see you all later. Bye. Shoo.